My name is Jared James. If you aren't familiar with me, I'm best known as an entrepreneur that gets the unique opportunity to coach and train agents and brokers in the real estate world and speak at conferences in front of thousands of people. But it wasn't always that way for me. What separates me from so many others is that I've actually done everything that I want you to be able to do. For that reason, this is the place to come if you want to learn the strategies needed to succeed in today's marketplace. This is the Jared James Today Show. Hey guys, Jared James here, and welcome to episode 30 of the Jared James Today Show. As always, guys, thank you so many to you that watch and subscribe and everything else. If you enjoy this today, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with somebody that you think will also benefit from it, and subscribe. As always, guys, been kind of cool seeing those subscription numbers going up and numbers of you following on Instagram and everything else. So very cool stuff. Thank you very much. This is an episode that we're talking about 2019. We're actually talking about 3 actions you must take for 2019 that I think you're going to need to watch a couple times. You're going to need to show in your office meetings. That is kind of an important show that I've done here, and it's really based on the 2018 member profile that was just released by NAR, the National Association of Realtors. And I want to say that as I'm doing this episode, for those of you that follow me from all over the world, we have thousands of you in Canada and beyond and whatever, this report still matters. Because what happens is that what happens in the US is kind of like a microcosm as far as not just when you look at behavior of consumers, consumer behavior, but also behavior of agents and brokers and these things. We all tend to follow each other. So this is important regardless where you have to be. But this particular episode is based on the member profile that just came out from NAR. And there's a couple of key findings I want to talk about. And then I want to talk about what are 3 actions that we have to take going into 2019, okay? And so what we found was that number 1, according to this member profile, the typical agent went from the year previously doing 12 transactions to now doing 11 transactions. Their number of transactions went down. The typical agent went from making $42,500 to it going down in the previous year to $39,800, okay? And so this is interesting because at a time when prices are at record highs, agents are technically making less money. And so we want to talk a little bit about why is that happening? Why is it happening to some of you? Why is it not happening to some of you? Which is maybe some of the even better things to talk about. But what I also found extremely interesting was that this report showed, and remember, this is NAR showing this. This isn't the young coach who's trying to tell you guys the internet matters and trying to whatever. What NAR came out and said was that their typical, the typical realtor, 12% of their business came from repeat clients and 17% came from referrals. So I don't need to be a mathematician to understand that 29% of their business came from repeat clients and past referrals. 29%. Do you know how low that is? Like some of you right now are watching who have been watching me for years. You kind of like me, but you don't like my message, you know, as far as what's going on with the internet and consumer behavior and that kind of stuff. And you've been kind of buck the trend, and most of your business comes from referrals and past clients and whatever. And now we're seeing that the typical realtor, only 29% came from that avenue, which is obviously what I've been saying for years. I've been standing up on the mountaintop yelling this for the years, you know, that consumer behavior is not just changing, it's changed. And now every single year we're seeing year after year this trend that's occurring where I hope that you are running your business in a way that attracts those people to you rather than just running that hope marketing, right? It's no different than you guys have heard me say over and over again, people didn't stop renting videos, how they rented videos changed. And so Blockbuster went out of business, Netflix is flourishing, right? What you want to decide moving forward now is, are you Blockbuster or are you Netflix, right? Are you Borders Books, are you Amazon? Are you, like, over and over and over again, which one are you going to be? And a new year is a great opportunity to really decide and make changes that maybe you wouldn't make at other times of the year. Maybe when things start to slow down, you go, hey, now's the time because I want to flourish, right? So let's talk about 3 actions that you have to take as a result of what's occurred here, okay? Number 1, you have got to become the writer. You have got to become the creator, not the talent, okay? You have to become the writer, not the talent. What do I mean about that? What I mean by that is that in every industry you see this thing where the talent for a certain amount of time wins, right? So you'll see an A-list actor that's the coolest, and I just had one pop into my head that I'm not going to say, but you know, they were in everything. They were the biggest thing ever. They were paparazzi following them. They were and then 3 years later, you never hear from them again. And the question is, did you never hear from them again because they retired or didn't want to keep working? Or because the creators, the writers, the directors, the producers said, we're not hiring him or her anymore. There's a new flavor, right? You ever seen somebody who comes up, has a couple of hit songs, amazing, whatever, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like whatever happened to, she was the coolest thing 3 summers ago. Like she had an amazing voice. She was the talent. And meanwhile, you see people like Taylor Swift that write their own songs year after year after year after year after year, still having a career. You see people like one of my favorite artists, John Mayer, who 20 years later still fills out arenas because they are writers, they are creators. They are not waiting to see if someone else is going to hire them. They're not waiting to see if someone else can make the decision for their future and decide that they're still going to be a star. And so what I want to ask you is, in your real estate business, is that how you're running it? Are you the talent where basically anyone can write an offer, there's so much going on, people come to me, I get referred, I get whatever, but you're not really writing or creating anything? Or have you structured your business in a way where you are the creator? You know, regardless of what past people, whatever come to you, you know how to create today. You know how to create tomorrow. And you have a funnel, a system, a foundation. You have everything in place that when leads come in, when you're leveraging how people are actually looking for realtors today, when they come in, who do they go through to? What are they saying? What actual system do they fall into? Or is it all just hope marketing, right? One of the very interesting things that also came from this report is that only 15% of real estate people had an assistant. Now, I want you to think about this. This is, in essence, the writer and the talent, right? Because when you're everything to everyone, you're not everything to someone else. You just can't be. It's not possible, right? And so, why is it that we expect in every other industry, when we go get our car work done, we don't call the mechanic. We call the receptionist. We get things scheduled. When we go to a doctor's office, we don't talk to the doctor, then walk in, check in with the doctor, go sit down, wait, go to the second waiting room, meet with the doctor, and then the doctor comes in and meets with us, then the doctor gives us surgery, and then we get into real estate and we buy into this nonsensical solopreneur mentality where we are everything to everyone and we think that's a great thing. They deal with us at every stage. We're great marketers, we're great negotiators, we're great, all of this nonsense. We are the talent. And we're not actually running things as a business, being the writer, the creator, the director who understands about running a business, that you've got to have people in place, you've got to have infrastructure, you have to have systems, you have to have marketing systems in place, you have to have, which one are you? Because moving forward, when you look at how consumer behavior has changed here, and only 29% of business, according to NAR, was repeat, past customers, referrals, that kind of stuff. What kind of person are you in your business? Do you want to be a flash in the pan, or do you want to ultimately last long term, right? Do you want to be a writer, producer, director, or do you want to be the talent that is waiting for the call? Because that's essentially what's happening right now that we need to pay attention to. The second thing, the second action that we have to take as a result of what we see coming out with a member profile like this is that we have to start spending money. So the other thing that came out in that member profile was that the average spend of a real estate professional went from the year previous $6,000 down to $4,580, okay? It's an almost 25% decrease, which is what people do. They contract when things start to get tighter. That's generally what average people do. Notice what I just said there. That's what average people do. Also, out of that $4,580 that was spent, on average, $1,310 of it was vehicle expenses. In other words, you had no choice. Only $70 was on a website. Now, we know that everyone's going online. We know that we have to attract those people to us. We are in a business where we're trying to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars within a 12-month period, and the average real estate professional spent $70 on a website which lives online. How does that make any sense? right? And so when you take out the vehicle spend and those things, the average real estate professional spent about a little over $3,000 in a given year in a career that they're telling me they want to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. It's about $260 a month. Think about that. I want to spend $260 a month and I want a return of $13,000 a month. It just doesn't work that way. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that going into the new year, as we start planning and looking at how consumer behavior is changing and what we have to do and the actions we have to take, we need to start looking at what are the proper ways to spend. I need to get a coach who's actually going to hold me accountable, who's going to show me in this new world we live in, what do I have to do on a daily basis? What does my system and structure look like? How do I grow? All of these things, I need to get a coach, right? What softwares do I need? What lead creation platforms do I need to be investing in? What I need to spend money to make money, otherwise I can't complain when I'm not making the amount of money that I want to make, because the truth is we never put in what it actually takes to do that, okay? I'm going to tell you that I probably spend more on Facebook ads and other things than almost anybody listening right now. But you know why? Because I like to grow. I like new business coming in. I like to create new business. And I understand that in order to make money, this isn't a new concept, guys, but in order to make money, I have to ultimately spend money. And for some of you, that means that, a lot of you are spending plenty of money. You're just spending it on the wrong things, right? You have 2 steak dinners a week. You can do it like, this is the year when you have to start saying, hey, even if I've got to step back a little bit and even if I have to contract as far as the things that I am spending money on, I am going to start spending money in my business, because there's a gold rush going on with everybody going online and finding their real estate professional. The only question is whether you're going to be an option or not, and we need to pay attention to what's actually happening right now, right? So the third action that we need to take as a result of what we're seeing here with this new report that came out, quite frankly, is that we have to do better with our past customers. So I've said to you guys over and over again, I'm not an ideological guy. Like, I don't care whether people come from the internet or others or whatever. And so while I'm telling you, you need to be online and you need to attract these people and visibility trumps ability and everything else, the other thing that this report also tells me is we're not doing well enough with our past people. Because if people are willing to leave us and go use another real estate professional in their next transaction, they didn't steal your client. They were never yours, right? Nobody steals your girlfriend. She liked the other dude better. Like, nobody steals your client. They saw a better option, and that option was easier to use, and that option was, right? Like, think about the referral-based world we went through. Referrals and why they still work were all about ease. They were all about easy. That's why people use referrals, because they go, oh, you know that person, you trust that person? Okay, I'll go use them. I don't have to search for anybody. Even in the internet world now, where people are finding their agents online, it's about ease. It's because, oh, you're in front of me right now. You can bring me to that house. You can tell me what my house is worth. It's all ease, right? And so when I say we need to do better with our past customers, I think it's sickening that only 29% comes from past customers and repeat and referrals and these things, but it means we're not doing our job. Like, our job, the sale, does not start or does not stop at the closing. It starts at the closing, right? And if you're banking on memory CRM and waiting to see who you can follow up with, and once a year doing a pie giveaway or something, awesome, but it's not enough. How are you staying in touch on a regular basis systematically with your past people, right? Like, what is in your CRM that every single day you know, here's who I'm supposed to follow up with, here's who I'm supposed to talk to? Because the sale does not end, it begins at the point of closing. Like, I did a thing a couple years ago where I showed that the lifetime value of a client is not the transaction that they actually make with you at that moment. I forget the report, but there was a report that showed that the lifetime value of a client, when you do it correctly, is over $112,000. If you knew that somebody was worth $112,000 to you, would you not follow up with them differently long term? Of course you would. But we don't think like that. We think about what's in front of us right now. And so while things are changing and the industry's changing and everything else, what's always been true is still true. Your gold mine, your greatest value is with the people already connected to you, right? And so those are the people, while we still want to operate like a 2018 and beyond, 2019 beyond business, we also need to understand that those people we've already worked with, the actual sale begins at the time of closing, and it's about when they go and they use somebody else, that's not their fault, that's your fault, right? Because you didn't follow up enough. They weren't connected enough with you. You weren't connected with them on social and commenting on their stuff on a regular basis. There was a lot that we weren't doing, so let's just take accountability for that and say, enough. That 29% may be industry-wide, but that can't be my numbers. You guys get what I'm saying right now? That's where we want to go with that. The good news about all of this, I've been saying this a lot. And by the way, guys, I did a podcast recently that you guys should check out where I talked about customer experience and how to get people to work with you long term and where those opportunities come from. You need to go listen to it, right? If you go to connectwithjared.com, down at the bottom of that page, you can subscribe to the podcast. I did a podcast how you actually do that. Go check it out, okay? But the good news about all of this is changing and it's becoming a more competitive world and everything else. I did this thing on Instagram recently where I talked about how entrepreneurship is a meritocracy, okay? Real estate business entrepreneurship is a meritocracy. And basically what that means is the idea that the talented win, okay? It's the cream rises to the top. That in a meritocracy, if you're good enough, you win. If you put in the work and you're talented enough and you're willing to do what other people aren't willing to do, and you listen to messages from people like me and it actually hits home with you and you make changes as a result of it, and you go get a coach and you get the right software you need and you do the right lead creation you need and you set up your calendar in a way where you're following up with the right people you're supposed to be following up with on a daily basis, in the end, in a meritocracy, you win. And so the beautiful thing is that in a meritocracy, in real estate, as an entrepreneur, in business, that if you're good enough and you put in the work, you will win. And I'm not saying that you'll win every time, right? Because sometimes we fail, but that doesn't mean we actually failed. It means that failing is not failure. Quitting is failure. And so sometimes you can do the right thing and not get the result. But if you keep doing the right thing, eventually the result comes. Just like sometimes you can do the wrong thing and get the right result. But if you keep doing the wrong thing, you're going to lose. That's simple, right? And so it's about doing the right things on a regular basis, using the talent that is available to you. That's why you're in this industry, because if you do, business, entrepreneurship, real estate is a meritocracy, and in the end, you will win. So I hope that encourages you. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. I want you to comment below, what are you going to change for 2019? What are you going to now spend money on? I'm going to get a coach. I'm going to get this lead creation system. I'm going to get this website CRM. I want you to comment below and tell me what you're going to change to properly prepare yourself for 2019 and beyond. As our industry is changing, I hope you're changing too. As I always say, guys, give this a thumbs up, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed, and please, please, please share this with your colleagues, with your office, whoever needs to hear this, because I think it's going to help them. I would really appreciate that, guys. You guys are already doing that, so I appreciate it. But guys, hopefully I'll see you guys soon. We're heading into convention season, so I'll be seeing a lot of you at live events. Can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Hey there, you, and I am talking to you in particular, person that made it to the end of my video. It means the world to me. But if you made it to the end, I'm hoping that you'll take a second and subscribe right here. Make sure you share that with all your friends, by the way. They're in real estate, sales, entrepreneurial, whatever it happens to be. By the way, if you're looking for a speaker for your upcoming event, click right here to get some more information. And as usual, if you have a question you want me to personally respond, just connect on social. You can click right over here and see all the platforms I'm on. I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great one.